Welcome, Queen. Can you imagine someone you love is drowning? So you jump in to save them. And instead of them working with you, they pull you under. And then the current takes you under while they use you as a revolving life jacket for every crisis, every problem, every poor decision, their irresponsibility, and lack of accountability. Disclaimer: today's life lesson session is set up in the format of a keynote because I'm going to be adding this to my Sam Speak YouTube playlist so people can just hear the audio if they would like to. So if you don't like keynotes, this may not be for you. What if I shared with you parents, siblings, friends, spouses, and even other relatives that you just may be guilty of this, and the root of the problem? Going through cycles of equipping someone with oxygen while they disregard the price you pay, the sacrifices you make, and your peace that you risk so that they can have stability, while your chest bears the weight of an elephant as you attempt to sleep at night, which creates sleepless nights where you don't know if you're going to make it through the night because you can't breathe. Let's talk. Enablement is not help. Disclaimer number 2. This is not committed to my memory, so you may see me looking at my notes. If you don't like people who use notes, again, this also may not be for you. But here it is. If we don't talk about this, you could die on the flight while they gonna be all right at your expense. So I ask you, is helping them worth your life? Is it worth your peace? Is it worth your joy? Is it worth your sanity? We must pause to reflect if we have the capacity to assist. Because if we don't have it, then we're not assisting. We're enabling. Enabling people to use our love and compassion that we have for them against us. Enabling people to stay stuck in cycles where they don't and won't learn. Enabling people to see us as their savior when we're not capable of being their savior. Are you stressed out and worried every day while the person you say you're helping is living life okay? They walking around like Pitbull and Neo, saying they having the time of their lives, singing. They can't pay their rent, but they got just enough to get up in the club. Now go with me, because they may not be going to a literal club, but the point of the matter is, are you saying you are helping people who keep showing you through their actions week after week, month after month, year after year, and even decade after decade in some instances. They showing you they are living stress-free as can be while you're losing your sanity. If so, I stopped by to tell you, you got power. And today, I came to equip you with some practical application, because you're not going to lose your mind around here. You're not going to have to act a fool around here. You're not going to have to go all out around here. Because you are going to have a clear filter to put your next helpful decision through. We're about to check your feelings. We're about to check your faith. We're about to check your future. How? The forward movement assessment. Go get something to write with and go get something to write on. This is how it works. There are 3 parts. Part 1 is the request. Identify what they are asking of you or from you. Now, I'm just breaking this down. I'm going to go back through and give you some real life examples. The second part relates to what are you feeling? What is your position? What is the impact? And then the third part is their action or your new reality. Now, if you are familiar with Excel, then you most likely are familiar with the if function. So this is set up similar to that. It's set up if this, then that, if. Now, let me break that down. First, let me share this. The why behind this is because too often we rush to move forward and we give a yes, making a decision that we have not evaluated that has long-term consequences, and we haven't considered what they are. Now, think about this. If they mess up your credit, you have to do 7 to 10 years for that. Is it worth it? Helping them? Seriously, think about it. Do you know them like that? And even if you do know them like that, are you willing to suffer that long if they do you wrong? Think about it. So here are the examples. I'm going to use money because typically I see this often and people love to use those 4 words. And if you've ever been on the receiving end of a request for money, you have heard these words. I'll pay it back. That's what they say. I'll pay it back, or I'll pay you back. You have heard it. So here is the assessment in action with the example using money. If I lend this money, will I be mad if they don't pay it back? That's checking your feelings. Why? Because we need to check our mood and our motive for honoring the request with the yes. If I lend this money, will I be in a bind if they don't pay it back? That's checking your faith. Why? Because we need to check your stability and we need to check your strength. If I lend this money, will I be financially stressed or in a mess down the road? That's checking your future. Why? Because we need to check your capacity and your capability to give a yes. We are checking in with you. And if we were to set this up as a fill in the blank, it would look like if I blank, and in that first blank would be the request. Will I be, and in that second blank would be either how you would feel about the yes after the fact, what position you would be in after the fact, or the impact that giving a yes would have after the fact on you. And then if they don't, fill in the blank here with their action or the consequence you face for giving them a yes. So again, if I, first blank, fill in the request. Will I be, second blank, your feeling, the position you're in, or the impact you have in that second blank. If they don't, their action or the consequence you now face due to giving them a yes. That is it in a nutshell. So, I see often people struggle with this, and it's typically because either they have not set any boundaries or they do not hold boundaries. So, when you don't set a boundary, people know that they can just walk all over you. You are the yes person. If you set a boundary but you don't hold it, people know that you say one thing but you will do something else, and so they come in anyway. Either way, there is not a good place and space to be in and operate from, because it allows people, even people who love you, to take advantage of you. And so today I stopped by to share with you the best place, and truly I believe the only place you should give from, that it's best to give from. Let me say that. Overflow. You should not be giving from empathy, sympathy, guilt, or even commitment. And I know you may be saying, not even from commitment. No, because here's the thing with commitment. Just because you may be dating this person, engaged to this person, or even married to this person, does not mean every time they open their mouth to ask you for something, the answer is and should be yes. Sometimes you need to give the people you love a powerful no, because that is what's going to help them grow, and that is what is best for the situation that they are in. Especially when as I said before, if they find themselves in these cycles where they always need a bailout and a handout. That shows you a pattern of behavior, and they are not learning the life lesson, so they keep being put in the place and in the position to learn it. And like I said, if they keep getting bailouts and handouts, they cannot and will not learn the lesson. Sometimes the best thing we can do for people is allow them to sit in their mess so that they can feel the stress. And I want to share this with you as well, because we out here now, we talk about relationships. So I'm going to bother this, but I'm not going to stay here because this is going to take us off topic if I stay here. Some people's problem in relationships is that if and when they can't get a yes, they feel you are no longer their best. So now they through. They done. They talking about bye, see you later. And sometimes they check out of the relationship emotionally before they leave physically. And they do this because they think that everyone they meet is the problem, because they don't see that they are the problem themselves. because they think, believe, and operate from the space that they should always get a yes. So now it's time for some self-reflection. And I want you to think about the times that you have given a yes. Now, once you have those times in mind, I want you to think about this. After you gave that yes, or maybe even while you were giving the yes, or considering giving the yes, did you feel heated, meaning angry? You had some animosity about it. Cheated, like they trying to get over on me. Depleted, drained, just drained. Here we go again. Or defeated, like I don't know, I just have to say yes because I mean, if I say no, then I have to say yes. I'm gonna say it again. Did you feel heated, cheated, depleted, or defeated? If so, you were not helping. Here's another question for your reflection. When you gave the yes, or while you were giving the yes, or consider giving the yes, did you feel suffocated, jaded, or rated? If you felt suffocated, like you just could not breathe, like this was going to stretch you beyond your capacity, jaded, I mean, you just had some internal animosity in your soul, or even rated, like they just coming for every little thing that I got and I don't have a lot. That means you did not have it to spare. So I want to set you free with one word: overflow. That is the space where it is best for us to help from. Overflow. Because when you have overflow, you have capacity, you have capability, you have the strength, you have the stability. You're not going to feel some type of way after the fact. Because your cup is going to be running over. When you have overflow, that means you have more than enough. You are in a place and space of abundance. And so when you give from that space, you're not self-sabotaging. And you're not looking back feeling stress or regret. Looking at them like, did you forget? And I'll give you an example out of my own life of what overflow look like when you give from that space. I have a cousin, and love her to pieces, cousin on my daddy's side. And I ran into her one day. She was very excited to see me. I was very excited to see her. Long story short, as we started talking and catching up, she shared with me that she had been getting pulled over quite frequently by the police, and they were giving her citations because the car she bought from someone that she saw selling a car personally, they were known to keep the block hot. You know, they were the person you go to see when you want to puff something. You know what I'm talking about. They were that person. So the car, by it being a custom color, it was easily identifiable. And she was trying to get the car registered in her name because it was not already registered in her name. But constantly being pulled over, it kept her pockets drained. Tickets, citations. So she asked me, cuz, you think you can spare $40? That's all I need to go ahead and get this car properly registered in my name. Now I had a decision to make right there. Is this a yes or a no? And I took myself through that same filter. I had to check my feelings. What is my mood and motive about this? I had to check my faith. Where is my stability and my strength? I had to check my future. Is this going to hinder or block me or stop me from doing something that I need to do or have to do in the future? Once I ran my decision through those filters, then I gave her an answer. And I told her yes. I lent her the money. But here's the thing. I gave from overflow. And even though I never heard from her again, I didn't see her again, and I didn't get that $40 back, I ain't mad at her. Why? Because I had it to spare. Now, should she have paid it back? Yes. But the fact that she didn't is not something that's keeping me up at night. The fact that she didn't is not something that's running my blood pressure through the moon, stressing me to death. It's not something where I'm asking, Lord, why? Why? And how did this happen? Oh, help me, Jesus. I'm not in that place or space because I didn't get that $40 back. And that's what I mean when I say give and help from overflow. Because if you don't have it, you just don't have it. So giving from the space of guilt, sympathy, empathy, or even commitment is not wise. It's not wise. And you have nothing to feel guilt, shame, or embarrassment about. Let your ego go and tell them no. Let your ego go and tell them no. It may be challenging. If you need assistance with equipping yourself with a framework to go through that no and work through that no to where you can stand on it, by all means, book a one-on-one with me. I'll walk through it with you. You will be equipped to stand on your no by the time we get done. Because when helping someone in need causes you to be in need or feel turmoil or conflict within, you didn't help them. You enabled them and sabotaged yourself in the process. As always, I'm Coach Sam telling you that 24 hours doesn't seem long, but in 24 hours, you can change your life. So go ahead and do something life-changing now.